And then by the end of the film, you understand it's because she is able to empathize and she
Yeah.
understands and is drawn to the sadness and those big emotions of others, and she needs to acknowledge that somehow. And so I love that what starts out as kind of like this silly thing and you're like, sadness, what are you doing? By the end you're like, oh no, she was actually doing her job and we just
Yeah.
didn't understand it at the time.
Yes. And one of my favorite scenes in this movie that I honestly I think back to quite often is the scene between Sadness and Bing Bong, and just the way that Sadness is able to create space for him to just feel and to express. That scene is honestly it's just written so well down to like what Sadness speaks and says, but just the concept behind it too, I think is so significant. It is like the perfect example of what empathy looks like. And I love that at the beginning of that scene, Bing Bong is clearly upset and Joy is trying to tickle him. She's trying to be goofy. She does the like silly faces and she's trying to get him to like move on. Like she's like, okay, we gotta go though. We got a mission. Like, let's come on, and she's kind of dancing all around him and it's not working and she's not connecting with him at all. And Sadness just comes so calmly and sits, first of all, she sits down next to him, to be just with him. And she says, I'm sorry they took your rocket. They took something you loved. And she doesn't even like when he explains, like, yeah, this hurt and I feel sad and all these things. And she just says, yeah, it's sad. And she puts her hand on him. And I thought that was such a beautiful, perfect representation of what it looks like to just make space for, acknowledge the way that people are feeling without even needing to respond with a lot more than that. Not trying to say, like, well, this must be rooted back to X, Y, and Z. Like, no, it's just, hey, this is hard and this sucks. And like, we're going to be here together to sit in it. So that scene is like ingrained in my brain and it hit just as good the second time around.
Oh, that scene is so powerful because I feel like for so many of us, that is hard to do.